One last time. Inhale. Inhale awesomeness. Inhale gratitude. Inhale love. And exhale anything else. All right. Now's the time to stretch your hands up. Just stretch up. Yeah. And to the right. Stretch to the right. Woo. And to the left. Oh, if it feels nice, you can make all kinds of funny noises. And stretch to the front. Bring your hands up to the front and your head down. And to the back. Try to find room behind you and stretch to the back. Oh. If that felt good, say yes.
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 Okay, let's tilt our heads. Just give them a few circles. Circle your heads to the right and to the left. Shake your body out. Shake your body out. Woo! Now's the time to make funny faces and relax those face muscles. Make a funny face at us, even if you're on the phone. All right. Everybody should be smiling right now. So if you are, say yes.
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 If you're ready for an amazing call this morning, say yes.
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 If you attended UPW and you really know how to say yes, say it like you said it there. Say yes.
Yes.
Make the sound of unstoppable intensity.
Woo!
Yeah, grab your air guitar and just play your air guitar for 20 seconds. I want to see your air guitar. Rock with your hair if you have hair. Woo! Yeah, feel free to dance. All right. Let's welcome Horia with a round of applause for an amazing call this morning. Woo! Over to you, Horia.
Hey, thanks, Yali. So, guys, thank you for having me today. I haven't been here for, I don't know, for a week now, and I'm so glad to be back. I see a lot of new people, a lot of new friends. I have seen some people that I've been to UPW. Hey, Ralph. Hey, Katuna. Hey, Yali. I don't really know who else is here and who I've met. I'm really happy because I found Liliana yesterday that I know, and she's from Romania, and that's really amazing. And she can support my thesis today because I'm going to talk a little bit about communism, something that you guys don't really know about.
And if you want to know who's on the line, just for a moment, I'll welcome everybody. We have Horia on the line. Me, Yali, Katana is here. Ralph is here. You guys can clap your hands while I mention everybody's name. Amy's here. Liliana also with us. Yasmin is also here. They're on video, so I'm proud. Drake is here as well. On the phone, we have Ricardo. We have Tammy on the line. Shannon is here.
Woo!
Amina, Liliana, and Andrew. If I haven't mentioned your name and you want to say hello, now's the time.
Yeah, Heather's here too on the line.
Heather is here too. Hey, Heather. Anything
Hey.
else? All right.
So,
We may have some anonymous callers today, and one of them might be Tony Robbins, so let's behave. Horia, back to you.
okay, a lot of surprises. Okay, so guys, in the introduction, I really wanted to talk a little bit about life in communism. And not that I really lived in communism before, but I wanted to set the premises of our talk here today. So the difference between generations and how they impact us. Basically, my parents are the first generation, and they really lived all their lives in communism. I'll just say what really communism in the last 10 years of communism in Romania really meant. It was, imagine that you work for the state. Okay, the state has all the jobs. Imagine that the state gives you the apartment that they want. Imagine that someone decides if you get a car or you don't get a car, so you have to apply for a car. You have the money, but you have to apply for it. And if they decide to give it to you, they will give it to you at one certain point. You have money, but you don't have anything to buy with them. You get the food on your money, but on a coupon, so everybody gets the same amount of food at the same once a week, and it's not really that much of a food. Liliana is laughing; she knows what I'm talking about. and those are just some stories that my parents told me about. I'm telling you guys all of this because in 1989, communism has fallen in Romania, and a lot of young people at that period, my parents were something like 32 years old. The first thing they decided, they identified that they were free, and they were free to travel the world, to go out of the country. It was more easy than in communism. They found out that they can employ people. They can have their own businesses, something that in communism wasn't really available at that time. And a lot of young people like us decided to have their own business. But this comes with a cost. And the cost of young generations having businesses takes up their time, and takes up the time from their family. So basically, in my case, my parents' time from me. So I was raised basically from 5 years old with a nanny. It wasn't that bad. I just realized now what big impact it has on me. And I'm grateful because I identified that. But I'll go on, and after that I'll come back to that. So basically, from 5 years old, I grew up with a babysitter. She was the one who took me to school. She was the one who took me back. My interaction with my parents was a little bit in the night, and their method of, I don't know, caring and loving me, it was giving the nanny money to buy me stuff, or they would buy me clothes, or they would send me to sports because that would kill some of my hours, and they really knew where I was, and they have more time for this business. And basically, I grew up a little bit trying to show, to stand out in my parents' faces. So I said, look, I done this. Acknowledge it, appreciate it, say something about it. And the feedback was, in the most cases, really poor. So I didn't get that feedback from them. The years has passed. I went to school. My mother at that point was a big, she was working for 10 years at that point, and she tended to bring the leadership that she had at her firm home. So what was really the leadership that she had? If somebody came and said, look, I've done this, she would say, this is your job. You have to do that. So basically, when I came home and I say, hey, Mom, I got a B at math, she would say, you could have got a B+. You have to strive for an A+. You can't say, come home and say you got a B. I came home and say I got a B+ at history. She said you had to get an A. It's history. I came home, I say I got an A+ at sports, and she said, sports, everybody gets a sports A+. So no acknowledgement here either. So the time has passed, and I went to college. There I didn't have that big of an interaction, but my need to show my parents that they need to acknowledge me remained. So every time that I used to do something, I was calling home. I was saying something, but no feedback. The years had passed and now I'm 27 and I came back in the family business when I was 25. Okay, so for 2 years now I'm home in the family business. And I identified that is the same story. Thanks God to Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Because now I know what those 25 years created in me.
Yeah.
I know what I really needed. I know now what I need from my parents, and I'm trying to give it to myself. And the thing here is that my mother doesn't know how to say congratulations. Doesn't know how to say you're good at that. And a lot of times my confidence drops. But Tony Robbins said something, and I really appreciate that he said that you don't choose your family. You love your family and you choose your peers. And I think this is very valuable because we don't choose our family, but us, as with the self-development that we are doing now, and we are growing constantly. I believe, and this is what I'm trying to do, is to become leaders in the people near us who are not in self-development, because we understand the effect that they have in our lives. And they are having this effect because, as Tony Robbins said, they come and say, no, this is stupid, they're brainwashing you. Carolyn, you relate to this, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, hell yeah, I relate to that. Yeah, brainwashed. Anybody I speak with tells me I'm brainwashed by Tony Robbins, but it's not true.
And this is the thing my mother, my father are telling me. Oh, you went to that big event and you got brainwashed.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there and they are telling you stuff. Those are stories. Don't feed yourself with those stories. And I know they are saying this because they are afraid.
That's right.
Because they are afraid, because they see our development. And in 25 years, my parents developed some patterns with me. They have some buttons here somewhere on my chest or somewhere in my mind. And when they start feeling afraid, they push those buttons.
They push.
They push and they push and they push.
And they push.
And those are their triggers, and they know them.
Right.
And they use them to give them certainty.
Right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Certainty, because if we don't do those things, if they push that button and we don't react, they feel uncertain.
Right.
They feel afraid. They are losing us. And they react and they push harder. And they push harder. And we are saying, hey, it's hurting me. And they say, I don't care. I don't have certainty. And they push again. And they push harder and harder. And what I'm saying is, we have to give them that.
Yeah.
We have to love them no matter what.
Yeah.
We give them their certainty. I give my mother the certainty that I love her and that she will never lose me. I'm here. She's my mother. She will always be in my life. I will love her even if she doesn't say congratulations for something I do.
Woo!
Even if she's pushing that hurtful button that creates in me for a moment or two a state that I don't really want to be in. But I'm grateful because now I'm identifying it.
Yeah.
And I know her pattern. What does this do? That button that she's pushing is giving her her certainty, but also gives me my peace of mind.
Yeah.
And the power to follow my dream.
Woo!
Yeah. And guys, one more thing. And this I want to acknowledge Paul Kirk for telling it to me. I don't know if he's on, but he told me this yesterday and I said it works perfectly for this call. He said, I started at one point associating a lot of negative stuff to what my mother was telling me. And he said like this, Horia, acknowledge the negative stuff it's giving, that your mother is giving. Why? Because it creates in you the motivation that you need to go forward, to follow your dreams, to follow your path, to be a part of the crowd. When your mother says something negative, tell her, thank you, mother. Thank you, because it's putting another brick on my house, my building, my life.
Yeah.
And it motivates me to do stuff, to be there.
Yeah.
That's
To
awesome.
thrive in my life. And I think those two things, being leaders in the people we love without them knowing it, and using the negative emotion that we associate to them, is the most powerful thing that I learned in the last 2 years.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job, Horia.
That was almost UPW good enough.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
That was awesome.
Celebrate. If that was awesome, just give a moment to celebrate. Yeah.
I'll kick my mother's ass with this coffee just now.
Much more like it, you guys. Thank you, Horia. Thank you. What would you like to ask the crowd on the phone? What would you like us to share?
Basically, just tell me how has it been for you guys? If you have the same experience, not with your mother, but maybe with some relative, some friend, or somebody, and also how do you deal with it?
So I just want to say I can relate to this. You know I can already. I think everyone knows I can.
We have a bunch of people on the phone, so don't forget to say your names before you speak.
Oh, yes, for sure. My name is Carolyn Rim, and I'm a rock star. I think, in fact, every time we should say our name right after that, we should say, I'm a rock star. Anyway. So basically, I am a rock star, and I just want to say you're getting better with public speaking. Like, I know your goals and your dreams, and I love that I know everyone's goals and dreams. I think that anyone that's on this call is going to be able to go after and achieve their dreams because you want more. You want to be you want to be inspired. You're hungry for that feeling. And I'll tell you, these calls give it to me, man, every day. I'm at my sister's. There's 3 little girls running around upstairs. And I was like, I got to get downstairs for the UPW call. Everyone leave me alone. Like, it's a big deal. I make the commitment to get on this call because not only do I love Yali, but I love the speakers. I love people's messages. I love what you just said about being able to relate because my husband is constantly telling me that, you know, and I'm not even with him anymore, but he constantly, like, he sees my posts, and I actually just blocked him yesterday, but and
Yes!
Yes! But he says, he's like, you're not inspiring anyone. Why are you chasing this dream to be famous? Like, you're so selfish. And I wanted to attack him, right? Like, I just wanted to be like, you know what? I'm just going to throat punch you, and we're going to call it a day. But, like, I didn't, right? I didn't.
You said thanks for the brick.
I did. I said thank you. I said thank you because I'm going to use this. I'm going to fuel my fire with your words. And I think you're doing that with your mom. Like, your mom doesn't, like Tony says it at the seminar. He says, don't, you know, we're going to come back and we're going to be like, oh my God, Tony Robbins this. It was amazing. And of course I did. And of course you did too. But they don't understand. They weren't there to experience it. And they're so afraid of change. People, that 4 little word, fear, right? Like, I feel like people will hold on to something even though it hurts or even though it's not a good feeling because they're getting their certainty from it, just like you said. And they're getting their significance from it. She might be getting her significance from telling you that this isn't the right way, but you know in your heart the right way, and I can see it. I can hear it in your voice. Like, you're going after your dreams, and like, you're not afraid. And like, even if you are afraid, you're not showing it, right? Like, we create our beliefs in our mind, and like, I've just been realizing that like the things I tell myself are having a huge impact on my reality. Like, I started to love myself, and in turn I just started to get that love like from others. And I don't know, like, I thought you did such a good job today. Like, I related to you so much. I know there's so many people on the call, so I'm going to cut it short, but I just wanted to say thank you for your message. That was amazing.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you.
You know, this is Heather. I'd love to add something. I haven't had a lot of resistance to any Tony Robbins stuff since I came back to Tony Robbins, but I experienced this a long time ago when I went to France for a year, and I came back from France and I had a lot of stories about France. and I specifically remember my father saying to me after I told him something I was really excited about that had happened, he said to me, well, Heather, what happened in France wasn't really real. And wow. I said, you know, at that point I was 20 years old and I was like, you know, trying to live my dream, and to have pretty much most important male figure in my life tell me that things that were very big weren't real was really, really confusing. And I wasn't really angry, but I felt really lost. I felt so lost because I wanted my parents role models. I wanted my parents to be the people to guide me for the rest of my life. I wanted my parents to be the ones to lead me still. And, you know, I realized when I was at 20 that I had reached out into the world in bigger ways than my parents ever had in their entire lives. Like, they'd never gone to a foreign country and lived there for a year. They couldn't relate to what I was going through. And I, you know, a few years after that, I realized that I now had to lead myself and look for new mentors. And it's the same thing with every one of us who've gone to this experience with Tony Robbins, which is this world-class experience that has given us insight into some of the greatest ways to live your life. Other people looking in on that, they can't get it. They don't understand, but it doesn't make it any less valid. And it's really important to recognize the value that you got from it. And, you know, you can't be upset at people who don't get it, but you can look for people to help keep it alive in you, because it was real. The stuff that we learned actually does help you in real life day to day and will help you achieve your dreams. So I think just thank you so much for talking about how when now you're relating to your mom, you know, you're still going to love her, you're still going to care for her, but you need to look at your family to find the kind of encouragement that you're looking for, that you wish your parents could give you, but they're not really the right ones to give it to you. And thank you so much. It's just awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you for sharing.
You're a rock star.
Yeah.
That was awesome. This is MP.
Hey, MP.
Hey, MP.
What's good? So yeah, I mean that really hit me in the heart, because you know it's crazy, because sometimes we all think, well, you know, and I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again because, and I know a lot of people can relate, is that sometimes we look at other people's success and we're like, man, how come they're not going through the trials and tribulations and whatever it may be? And, you know, we can't have, you know, we can't have a testimony without a test. And, you know, I know me as being a single dad, you know, everybody's like, oh man, you're doing a great job. You know, and it's crazy because my mom's the same way. You know, I'm 39 years old. And it's like, well, Michael, how come you didn't do this with your daughter? How come you didn't do this? How come this? And how come this? You know, and it's always like trying to tell me what I need to do for my daughter, you know. And what really holds me down to where I'm at right now is because, you know, I don't have a girlfriend right now at this time, but I'll attract one later down the road when I become the person I want to become. I'm not in a hurry, but at the same time, sometimes our parents are like, you know, you can't succeed because, you know, Michael, why don't you just get a job? Because you know what, I'm not going to get a job. I haven't got a job. But she doesn't say anything when I give her money and everything. I pay for her clothes, do everything like that. But she's always shooting my dream down. You know, well, why are you doing this? And why do you go to another seminar? Why are you always training? Why is this? Why is that? And you know, they don't even know what we're trying to do for them. They don't understand it. And just like my dad tells me, you're trying to catch a dream you can't catch. You know, my dad's a multimillionaire. He's been in the oil field for years. You know, he doesn't give me any money, which I don't expect that. But, you know, he just expects me to get a job. Well, won't you just get a job and work 9 to 5 and, you know, get all the great benefits? And sometimes it's tough sometimes to, you know, because those are the negative people. I love my dad to death, but sometimes you just got to, even if it's your family and your love people, you just got to cut down that time and energy. If I don't go over there to my dad's house as much, I call him every once in a while, make the call short because he's always, what are you up to? What has been going on? And not, you know, it's just trying to shoot down to what I'm doing. And they're not feeding into that because, you know, again, we gotta really work with the people. I mean, this is awesome being on these calls because, again, I mean, it is so inspiring for me because, you know, who tells you in the morning that you're doing awesome, you're great, you're phenomenal, and it's us here on the call. And if it wasn't for this call, you know, I just don't know where I would go. I mean, this is the call that I have to get on, and today's call just hit me. I mean, it hit me hard because. Man, I go through this almost every day. It's like, okay, how can I try to love my mom a little bit more, and it seems like she gives me more resistance. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And I try to do the qualities of Tony, and she just don't get it. And she has zero personal development, and sometimes it's hard to kind of explain the situation I'm in. But, you know, she helps me a lot with my daughter, which I appreciate. I love her. But, you know, I try to do more for my daughter than she does so I can, you know, step up as a man because it's not her responsibility, it's mine. But, man, hey, you kick butt, and, you know, I love what you said, Caroline, and that was good stuff. So we'll keep on rocking forward.
Woo! Yeah.
Just one response here. One thing, MP. I was talking to my grandfather who's 80 years old this year. And I asked him on Sunday, I said, Grandpa, tell me, what should the teenagers in this moment do to be a better person? And he said, oh, they have to go to school and they have to do that and do that and do that and do that and do that. And I said, Grandfather, I asked you from experience not to tell us what to do because you are not living in the moment. You're living with your association from the past. Tell me core things that you need to do that you would say to your grandchildren at the last moment. Not to go to school to study history, not an action item. Tell him something at his core. Tell me 3 things. And you know what he said? He said, find your passion, find your values, and give gratitude.
Yeah.
No personal development.
I love that. Give the gratitude. I think being grateful for what you know is coming. Like for me, like I visualize in the morning and I'm grateful for what I know is coming to me. So that's so huge. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. Go ahead.
So one quick question to everybody. I got a question for everybody that's gone through this. I know several other people have felt this way. But what are you going to do differently?
Just say your name so we know who you are.
Your name and you're a rock star.
Ricardo.
This is Ricardo. So the question is, what are y'all gonna? I'm a rock star.
Yes!
Okay, sorry, go on.
Continue.
So the question is, what are y'all gonna do? What are we gonna do differently? Because I had the same thing that you guys just talked about with my family, and I've made a decision not to treat my son that way, not to pass these programs to my son. Has everyone made that decision not to pass this down?
Yes.
My son's going to have a different life than I've had. I'm not going to treat my son the way that my parents treated me. So he's going to set the standard for the next generation of the Leon family.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I love that.
You should talk a lot to MP because he has an amazing girl.
Oh my God, I know.
Exactly. So MP, I mean, you know, you're gonna change it, right? The future's different.
Yeah, of course.
the timeline is shifting. The next generation is going to be a totally different generation.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly, you know, and that's the thing about me. And I'm never going to tell my daughter she's going to go up there and chase a dream she can't catch, because she's already caught it. She's got the vision with me, and I promise you, she'll never, ever, ever ask permission to get somebody to give her a job, because she'll have a business by the age she's 10 years old. You know, because I already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? We already got this made, you know, it's already done. It's a done deal. I mean, it's sealed up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like I talked to a multimillionaire, he says, hey, you know, he got and I've said this before, but he had a Lamborghini, and they said, man, how does it feel to have a Lamborghini? He says, man, I had that 5 years ago. You know, what do you have on your wall? What are you thinking? And just like Caroline, she really knows where she's going. That's phenomenal, because if you don't know where you're going, then you're lost. And you got to have a map to success, and you got to keep moving forward. So, yeah. And just, you know, my little girl would never, you know, life would never be the same again, baby.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. Make your kids your why. My little girl's my why, for sure.
Also, don't forget, you guys, these are, you know, the beginning of our UPW or iinspire calls, however you want to call them. But our kids, they're going to have their own, you know, little junior iinspire calls, so no worries.
Yes. I love it.
This is Liliana.
It's going to be
Hi,
like,
Liliana.
Are you going to school? Are you going to school? No, Mommy, hold on, I'm on my UPW morning.
Yeah.
I have to.
I wanted to add something here.
Yes, sorry.
Because I saw that with my eyes. There is a saying, and I don't know if in English is the same, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of wisdom that our parents gave to us. And saying that I'm not going to be like my father or like this, you always have to be discerning of what you are deciding to, what you think, based on your beliefs or newly formed beliefs that are really supposed to be discarded, and what is to be kept from what the parents are trying. As Horia said about certainty, I think a bit more about control, which translates later on in uncertainty, they have fear. But there are certain bits and bytes that parents give to us. And I found out this later in life. Not at 27 like Horia, not at 39 like MP, somewhere in between actually. But it has been a lot of conflict with my parents, and only after that, maturing, let's say, I finally got to the point to say, not everything that my parents did for me, even though they were controlling and pushing, was bad. On the contrary, I'm finding a lot of valuable lessons and things that really fueled me, even the hate at points fueled me to go forward. And I just wanted to say that don't throw everything, be discerning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ralph Gillenhouse here.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
Hey, Horia. I really appreciate your message to us today. A couple points. My father was very pressured, much like your mom was. And when I heard a story about making a diamond, polishing a diamond, you know, that roughness to get that perfection, I think sometimes our parents see more in us and see our capabilities and wants us to be that perfect diamond. And I appreciate your love that you have for your parents and recognizing that. And secondly, bringing up living in that time your parents lived in, our country with good intentions try to do more and more. And sometimes that concerns me because our freedom, you know, who we are, we don't need to be dictated by another power. It's, you know, you have a great message to share with many Americans, and I appreciate your appreciation for life. You know, we had a great meal, great dinner, and you really appreciated what you had there, and I'm grateful for your gratefulness.
Aww.
Oh.
Yay! Thank you. We're nearing the end of the call. I just want to see if anybody, especially if you're on the phone and can't see you, anybody feel like they have to say something before we close the call off?
Hi, Katana.
Hi, Katana.
Hi, thanks, Horia. I love you.
Don't forget to say you're a rock star.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking gladiating, fire walking, ass kicking rock star.
Oh yeah.
That's a 2 millimeter up rock star. Thanks, Horia. I love you. You're awesome. And for those of you that didn't know, I do this little trick at UPW. I go in there with my VIP seat and I save some seats, and then I go scout around and I look for a face that draws me in. And he was standing there with Alex, and I said, "Hey, you guys want to sit closer?" And they're like, "Yeah." I go, "Come on." So they come up, and they ended up being my buddies for 4 days. So it was like such a cool thing. It was so fun, and you guys are great. But I love your message. And what I've struggled with my parents, they divorced when I was 3, and I was the youngest of 3 girls, and they split the children for reasons, whatever. My mom was abusive and whatever. They split us children up, and it was really screwed up. And my dad has a tremendous amount of guilt. My mom just shut down and went away, and she just can't do love at all. Very much like what you said, Horia, about your mom. She cannot say I love you. She cannot hug me. She just doesn't do anything. Nothing. She has really no relationship with me and 0 with my daughter. It's very painful. But my dad always used his intelligence because of his guilt, because he did not handle things well. He didn't. And so he used his intelligence to always talk in a demeaning manner, and he was always like 5 steps above everybody. And the problem for me, the challenge for me is I'm an artist and I'm very creative minded, and I process things differently than he does. And he's an engineer, and he's like ridiculously intelligent, like Einstein brilliant. He's socially just awkward. And so he used his controls with his intelligence and was very abusive. And right before the 100-day challenge, a couple of you know this, that I went through a really, really, really bad time at Christmas with him because I'm so healthy now, I'm not willing to accept his bullshit anymore. And he gave me my Christmas gift back to me. I handed it to him. I took the time to care, and I handed him this gift, and he literally handed it right back at me and said, "Well, I can't use this." And I didn't even know what to say. Like, we all have gifts like that, but you don't like look at, especially if it's your child, you don't look back at them and give them their gift back. But anyway, there were some other things that happened, and he just was completely abusive. And when I got ready to go, I said goodbye to everybody, and I went over and gave my dad just kind of a obligatory hug, and I said, "Good to see you." And I walk away, and he said, "Good to see you too." And I just thought, whatever. And I turned around and I said, "Are you like glad to see me?" And his answer to me was, "Well, yeah, you're a looker." And I was like, "What the hell? I'm your child. Like, what are you talking about?" So I just stood there for a second. I didn't say that. I was thinking it in my mind, and I just looked at him and I said, "I have a heart too." And then he looks at me and goes, "And a soul." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, and I finally, I've stood up to him before, but not in the way that I did this time. And I just said, "You know what? You just need to know, I need you to know that your behavior is just not appropriate at all. And it's very hurtful." And some other things that happened that day too, that it just, his need to lash out and hurt me is not to hurt me, but it does hurt me. And so I've had to make some boundaries, and it's been really, really, really painful, because one of the stories that I did in my life, my mom definitely wasn't there, and for me to let go of my dad meant I had no parents, and I was absolutely emotionally not able to live with that. So I hung on to this delusion and this story of my dad, and I lived in this fantasy world, and I never ever challenged anything he did to me. I just was like, "Oh, my dad, oh, my dad," but deep down inside, I didn't like the way he talked to me and treated me. So I definitely, my daughter's 19, and thank you, God, I did not pass this on to my daughter. We have a fabulous relationship, and I cared to leave a legacy of love in my life and to break the generational curses that have gone on in my family. And that's on a positive note, what I can say. But I think that fear and just guilt on my dad's part has made him be very emotionally abusive to all of us children. And there does come a point where I appreciate everyone saying love your parents, choose your peers. You know, sometimes love is letting go, and I have to stay away from my dad. It's just not, it really took me down, and I was really thankful, Yali, I told you this 100-day challenge just really pulled me out of the canal. I was going down really hard because it was the end of my parents for me, as far as having any hopeful chance of a relationship. And I just, as a kid, you know, you always desire those needs and those wants from your parents, and I know now they're going to die with it, and I'm never going to have what I always wanted with them, and that's just the way it's going to be. And to come to reality of that was really painful. And so this challenge has gotten me back on track about celebrating who I am and getting into action. I love some of the stuff you posted, Yali, in helping somebody. It just reminded me that, you know, getting into action is the answer. And it is the answer. And so I'm just moving forward. And thanks for everybody. You guys are awesome. And you've helped me so, so much. And Horia, you're a rock star.
Thank you for sharing that, Katana, and for being so candid and open. And I'm glad you're a survivor and a gladiator and a rocking something rock star. It shows. It shows. And you know, we all have our stories, but thank you, Horia, for inspiring us both to, you know, step it up and decide what our futures look like, and also how to take what's there from our parents, and like Liliana said, and cherish the parts that we can cherish. And you know, I want to end by us taking just a deep breath in for a moment and just exhale and do it one more time. Inhale really, really deep this time, and close your eyes and give yourself just a moment to think of one or two things that you are grateful for having your parents, whether it's something amazing that they did for you, or whether it's the fact that they've challenged you and made you who you are today. Just take one moment, breathe in deeply, and feel the gratitude, and just look at your parents' faces and thank them, no matter what the circumstances, for who you are today and for bringing you into this world. Take it in and feel it. And enjoy this song while you do. You're welcome to open your eyes and clap.
Yes!
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 Say yes!
Yes!
Ready to have the most amazing day. Say yes one more time like you mean it.
Yes! Yes!
And celebrate!
Woo! Make your move! Bye, guys. Have an amazing day.
Bye-bye.
Yali, you still dancing? I'll dance with you. Come on.
And I'm blowing kisses. You guys.
We're catching your kisses. We caught your kisses.